Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Keyforge, the brand new collectible card game coming out from Fantasy Flight Games, created by Richard Garfield, the same creator that created Magic the Gathering in 1993. And specifically today, I'm going to be talking about chains. Chains are an incredibly important aspect of the game Keyforge, but I am predicting now that chains are going to be an incredibly important aspect for tabletop games overall. So I have recently completed reading the entire rule set for Keyforge in detail, word for word, cover to cover. Okay, and I've taken some notes and I've just kind of collected my thoughts on what this is going to be. And the more I see of Keyforge, I'm absolutely convinced that this is going to be a comet that that comes in from outer space and strikes the ocean, and that tsunami will sweep across not just Magic the Gathering. I think that Keyforge is going to impact, that Keyforge is going to impact the entire tabletop role-playing game industry. There's been a question of, is Keyforge going to be a ripple or a tsunami? I think it's going to be a tsunami caused by the comet that strikes tabletop gaming. I think the following industries are going to be impacted by Keyforge. I think collectible card games, and that's, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Transformers just released a new one. There's also, Netrunner. Of course, that's an LCG. It's a living card game. But card game overall are going to be impacted by Keyforge. Board games are going to be impacted by Keyforge. And tabletop role-playing games are going to be impacted by Keyforge. That's three distinct industries that are going to be impacted by Keyforge. And the reason why is because it really is just a revolution in rules. Okay? And that's what Richard Garfield does. He writes rules that are really unparalleled. And So we're really looking at a huge change. And so basically the thing is, if we are looking at a revisit of Richard Garfield showing up for work like he did in 1993, this is massive because I was there in 1993. So basically I was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we saw Magic the Gathering I literally saw it arrive in the store day one. And we were like, what is this, right? And the guy was, it's just a new card game, right? And people start breaking it open and seeing what it was. The next weekend, after Magic the Gathering, I lived in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where the Amish live, right? I just finished, actually I was still going to, I just finished my bachelor's degree at Millersville University. And people were driving from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, every single weekend for 6 months to Philadelphia, buying every single card they could buy at retail and bringing it back and immediately reselling it, not for a profit, but just because the community was growing so fast. Everybody was just super hyped about the game. It was bonkers. And then I saw a whole bunch of FLGS's, friendly local game shops, open up shop because there was such a huge money flow coming in from Magic the Gathering, right? I think that that Keyforge is going... So we don't have a time machine. We can't go back to 1993. I think Keyforge is going to bring 1993 to 2018. I think it's going to happen again. And the reason why is the more I read, there's just stuff in here that's completely unprecedented. Let's talk about chains, right? All right, chains. So what does it do, all right? You as a player character, right, are fitted with chains if you think that your deck is stronger than someone else's chains. So two players playing each other, they can choose to put chains upon each other. Okay, one player can choose to say, "Hey, we've played these decks before. This deck has won 9 out of 10 times. Why don't we put chains on this deck?" Right? So let's say Sally and Mary are Sally and Mary are going to play. So Sally, she has the winning deck, right? That's won 9 out of 10 times. And Mary has a deck that has not won, okay? So Mary can say, hey, Sally, it's not fun to just win and lose. I want you to take 4 chains, right? So chains is a value that you're given, and for the number of chains that you're given, it minuses the number of cards you can draw at the end of your turn. Also, in Keyforge, you can draw a number of cards, as you can discard as many cards as you want from the active house that you've chosen and draw that many cards up. So unlike Magic the Gathering, you have control of how many cards you want to draw, unless you have 0 cards in your active house, and then you really don't have any control. You're just going to have to draw 0. All right, so Mary can say, Sally, if you're going to play that deck, I want you to put chains on here, okay? The other thing they can do is they can put the deck down, and then Sally can say, I'll play this deck, which we know is a winning deck, for 1 chains. And Mary can say, I'll play it for 2 chains. And Sally can come back and say, I'll play it for 3 chains. And they can bid chains for a deck, right? Now what this does is it makes your probability of winning lower. So you have now lowered your probability of winning, right? And this allows you to easily, so in the game, I was surprised they actually used the word handicap. It allows you to apply an impediment on a player, okay? Now, this is very, very different than has ever been done in any tabletop role, in any collectible card game I've ever seen. It's new, right? But that's not the important part. The important part is this. Chains is not simply a mechanic to control balance within the game, balance within a set of within a pair of players, within a community, and within a tournament community. That's 3 levels of control that have never been seen in any collectible card game before, in my opinion. But here's the thing that makes it truly, truly unique and special. Chains are not simply a rules mechanic. It is tied into the lore of the setting. It is lore-based. This is massive. This is unprecedented and massive. Okay, I'm going to read to you what it says about the lore of chains in the rules. It says the following. Chains represents supernatural bindings that are occasionally placed onto specific archons by the architects, right? Sometimes in an effort to better challenge the archon to grow and overcome great adversity, and other times to penalize the archon for breaking a rule or a piece of crucible etiquette. What? What just happened, right? Look at it, all right? Archon refers to players. That's not new. Players have always been called planeswalkers in Magic the Gathering. That's not new. What's new here? Architects. Architects. There is a lore element that refers to the game designers. That is insane. That is super meta and has never happened before, okay? In addition, right, check it, all right? This is brilliant, all right? I love this. Magic the Gathering. What's its equivalent of this? The banned list. The banned list is the most hated thing in all of Magic the Gathering. Players say the following. You've cheated me out of value of my card. You've made it so that my winning deck is now broken and I can't play it anymore, right? The other thing that's said about the ban list is it is lame. All 3 of those. Broken, lame, theft, right? You know, all those. So, thievery, lameness, brokenness. This is how the banned list is looked at in Magic. And guess what? It should be, because it's got absolutely no story elements to explain it, right? And it was Wizards of the Coast game designers coming in saying, oh, we screwed up. Now we're going to use this incredibly arbitrary, incredibly clumsy mechanism to control it afterwards, right? It feels like theft, it feels lame, and it feels broken, right? They have built into the rules from day one saying, you got an awesome deck. It crushes everybody else, right? You don't have to give that thing up. Here's a mechanism that has a lore element that ties it to the story that makes you be able to continue to play this and allows that deck to have value even after it's broken, to the to even after we've proven it's OP, to make it useful and make it even like the idea of chain spinning useful to more than one player, right? Like it's just the idea of it is crazy, like crazy good, right? It is incredible what has been done with chains. I've never seen a banned list attached to a lore element in a game and held and put there in a winsome way. Now, here's the really exciting part. Here's the part that Richard Garfield did that I think is just huge, right? Everything I've talked about is huge already. This is bigger than anything. I am predicting now that players are going to want to be chained in tournaments. It will become a brand of honor. You will be branded. You will say, I played in Pittsburgh chained at 7 with 7. I played in Pittsburgh with 7 chains. I played in Los Angeles with 9 chains. I played in New York with 2 chains. And where the banned list was complained about, this limitation will be sought as a badge of honor by players. This is, I'm telling you right now, Keyforge is going to hit like a comet. And the tsunami that is coming for tabletop games is immense. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing.